My name is Aaron, aka Grishno, and welcome to Springwood. We've been growing a little bit. We have been having a few issues, and we'll discuss that in a little bit, but we've been growing. So you can see our downtown area had a little bit of growth. These high-density commercial areas have started to spring up, and so we had a series of pretty tall buildings come into play, and I think it's coming together pretty nicely. It's very close to our farm area up here, and that sort of leads me into what's been going on today. We've been having a real problem with uneducated workers, and this is something I run into a lot with the type of cities that I build. I really like to have farms. I like farms. I think that they are just really pretty additions to a city, and I really like having them. But at the same time, I also like having really pretty tall buildings like this, and these require an education system. So we have, I think, 2 universities. But you can see right here, 33% of our city, over basically a third, is highly educated. That means that they went to university. 30%, basically 29%, went to elementary, 25% have gone to high school, but you can see this little teeny sliver here of red. That's the uneducated, and that is who industrial wants. So we have had just a rash of abandoned buildings coming in to both of our areas, and you can see, if you look at the city sort of overall, we do have a significant amount of industry built into the zone. We had some dirty industry down here, and we had the farms built on the hilltops up here, and that was a significant amount of industry. And as our workforce, as our population has become more and more educated, those areas have started to not really be viable. So I think we're gonna have to have a little bit less farmland. I know we just made this a few episodes ago, but I think it might be time, at least for this area, because we've been continuing to expand up the valley with this high-density residential. I think it might be time to build a hub up here for some commerce. We clearly don't need all the industrial, clearly, because they're basically abandoning themselves at this point. For some reason it doesn't want to. Maybe it has, maybe that's just the yellow is the color. I think I've de-zoned it all. There we go. Okay, so this area is all dirt, and I think that that's going to need to change. I have some other really exciting things to show you, actually, before we get too deep. Oop. And up here, and what we're doing up here. So I know I mentioned earlier about bringing a train in and having a train station up here. So I was actually able to do this off camera. I did spend a little bit of time playing off camera. It's pretty happy to get that time. It is difficult to do everything I want and record an episode at the same time. So I was able to bring that in, go through a tunnel underneath this big hill. And it comes out here. Works its way around this very beautiful station that we have right here. And then loops around to leave. And in the middle of that loop, I decided to put the Space Needle, which does mean that we have a street crossing of that train. I wasn't really able to... I thought I was trying to maybe go out this way, but it wasn't working to connect over to here. So we're just going to have a street crossing of these tracks. But this area is sort of... It's coming together, I think. It's coming together. It's not as happy as right there, where we really have a lot going on, but it's coming together. It's coming together down there. This area, on the other hand, is not. This area is just awful and sad. Maybe one day we'll get out here, but what I'm hoping is that having a little bit less industry in this town will do us some good. So that means turning this area into part of the city. So the first thing we're going to be doing is updating the roads, because these were dirt roads. This was farmland that we are now converting into part of the city. So that should be all of the roads. So we no longer have dirt roads running through the city. We never did connect this. I'd said, earlier that we might be able to do something like that. We haven't made it happen. I don't think we need to worry about it just yet. They do have an easy way to get on down here, so we're not going to worry about it too much. We do have a little bit of demand for commercial. And so we're going to paint some pretty significant areas up here commercial. Since we're expanding up here, I think we're also going to be changing this strip of light commercial, at least right here, into heavy. Just so it matches, just so everything is sort of matching. It will be a little strange that right across from these big commercial buildings is a farm, and I have a feeling that that is probably going to end up turning into office space pretty soon. We are really going to try and keep this farm, though. I really like this area of the city, and I would really like to keep it as a farm. So we'll see if we can do that, but I don't think we're able to keep all of it. We are going to need some residential here. But it looks like we should be able to get that pretty easy. We'll come back later and take a look at some of the specifics with this area. Look at some of the details after it's filled in a little bit, but I think for now that's gonna be decent for us. So we'll see how that goes. We are starting to get demand coming back. A couple other things that I did while we were away. I added just a few new buildings to the downtown area. So you can see right here we have Solo. Last week we had 32 tourists come and visit us, so that's pretty great. This is a very similar building to ones I've seen in New York that sort of have the curved architecture at the bottom. I've seen a couple of buildings like these. They are pretty tall, and so we were able to put that in, which is pretty exciting. Again, these buildings came up, really excited about that. I wish that they had a little bit better lights at night. They're sort of dark and foreboding up there, and they're just sort of gray blobs. I like this one. I love how much light is coming from it. I also really like how this neighborhood's turning out. I think this was probably my favorite part of the new expansion up here, was bringing this down. You can see all the visitors that we have here. Looks like 41 last week we had 123. Tourists was 41, so we did have a fair amount of tourists come in. The Statue of Wealth. Could look at where we want to bring that in. Could be up here. This is not a great area. It's right next to the freeway. Could be down here. Slope's too steep. Too steep of a slope. Does not like the slopes. We already have a big park there. Let's see. And these are some really pretty old style buildings that we're not... you know, we don't just want to throw them away. How is the slopes too steep there? Maybe here. Let's take a look. What do we have there? How do we have low density residential that far into the city here? There we go. Let's just make sure we got as much of it as possible. This isn't a little piece right there. Right here. I mean, this is where the farm is really starting to poke in to the city. I think that's a school, so we're not going to get too much. Plus, we have something else right there, probably a fire station. You can see this area of the city it does stay dark at night. You can see the moon back there. Oh, isn't that a nice feature? Wherever your mouse is lights up a little bit at night. I wish it didn't do the blue, so I could just see that little light. I guess if you do it along the road. Night watch. Be safe. Night watch, be safe. I don't know what that is about. Looks like it's morning in Springwood. People are starting to move into the new subdivision up here. We are a growing city. Almost 300 people coming in consistently. It's really good. This area is going to be some really nice towers eventually. But for now, it's farms. We still do have an issue with some abandoned buildings, but looks like our supply of workers is starting to even out a bit. We're not seeing the same sort of flashing icons everywhere. This one in particular. I mean, it's out there, but you can basically see, you know, one overeducated worker. So that's the problem that we're running into. We've started addressing it, but we still have a ways to go. The sun is coming up. People are going to work. I hope you've enjoyed another day in Springwood with me. Hopefully we'll come back. I'll have some more episodes. It's been a lot of fun to grow this city with you. And I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. So thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'm Grishno. And I'll see you later.